So it's Rod Maxwell for the Lockdown Late Lunch on Radio Alty, and with me today is Ged Carter, who is Head of Charity for the We Love Manchester charity. Good morning, Ged. How are you?
Good morning, Rod. I'm very good. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So let's go through the background of the We Love Manchester charity, when it was set up and some of the work it looks to do.
Yes, sure. We were originally set up in the 1990s as the Lord Mayor of Manchester's Charity Appeal Trust. Now that's quite a mouthful. So back in 2011, we kind of rebranded and trade as the We Love Manchester charity. Graphically, that's the We Heart Manchester symbol. So very iconic symbol, very iconic branding. And we are here to improve the lives of communities and citizens in Manchester. Now that's a pretty broad agenda. So if you like, I can talk about a couple of areas that we do that and excel in that.
That's great. So yeah, please do. Please do.
Okay, so first of all, we come from a point of view that we don't know how to change and improve people's lives, but people in our communities do. So if communities say, this is what we need to do to improve our lives and our neighbours' lives, or if individuals say, this is what I need to take a step forward to progress my ambition. If they can show us what's possible, we can help make it possible by providing funding. So we do that in two ways currently. One is we have our Stronger Communities grants, where community groups can apply for a grant. They say, look, this is what we need to improve our area. It's going to cost some money. Can you fund this part of it or all of it? And they put an application and our trustees approve it. And they then transform their location with that funding. And secondly, we've got a completely innovative scheme targeted at disadvantaged young Mancunians. However difficult things might have been before COVID, the recession that's coming post-COVID is going to make disadvantaged young people at even greater disadvantage. And people look around the city centre of Manchester and see the crown of cranes and the bright lights, and they assume it's all, you know, go, everyone's doing well. 40% of the kids growing up in Manchester right now are still growing up in poverty, and they don't have either the money or the cultural and social capital to take advantage of opportunities that perhaps you or your kids might be able to, Rod. So we say, if as a young person in Manchester, you have identified where you want to go next, what your ambition is in terms of qualification, employment or entrepreneurship, and if to progress in that you need X and X costs money and you haven't got that money, you can apply for a Manchester Rising Stars grant. And with that grant, you can buy or get what you need that will take you on to your next step. I could give a couple of examples if that helps to illustrate. Yeah.
So yes, give us a couple of examples of some of the work, and I'm interested also to know where the money comes from, Ged.
Yeah, sure. In terms of where the money comes from, it is from public fundraising. Everything from individuals going the extra mile, literally, and running, you know, a Great Manchester Run, raising sponsorship for us, through to corporate partnerships, businesses who partner with us, and as part of that, they help raise money for us, either through their colleagues or through their customers or both, and we promote their support. Also we've had one or two major donors, which I might come back to. In terms of a couple of examples, look at the Manchester Rising Stars Fund. We're just talking with a young woman who was one of our first fundees, called MARIAJACKY. She was growing up in a homeless hostel called the Contact Hostel in Whalley Range, completely split from her family, absolutely no access to finance, but she's remarkably academic and saw her future as being through academic success. But in order to do study outside school, she needed bus fares, she needed to buy a laptop. She took on a dodgy loan in order to fund that, and was then working 2 jobs in order to pay for that funding. When she applied to us, we said, fine, we'll take care of the laptop funding and your bus fare funding so you can get to the library. Wind forward, she smashed her A-levels because she wasn't up to work casual jobs, and is now studying midwifery. And if we're 1% of her success story, enabling her to concentrate on studies rather than funding her education, if we have created an opportunity for her to become a midwife and serve community in future. And that's what we go to school for. That's exactly what we're looking for. So young people who know what they want to do, where they want to go, and can demonstrate why a grant from us will make a difference. That's our Manchester Rising Stars Fund. In terms of our stronger communities, myriad examples. Recently, we've done a kind of an alley improvement scheme in Moss Side. There was an alleyway in Moss Side that was in a residential area, pretty much renowned for crime, fly tipping, drug misuse. That's now, the community have got together, said, we're going to improve this, and through an imaginative scheme around planters, seating, play equipment, they've deep cleaned it, tidied it up, and it's now a beautiful asset for the whole of those adjacent streets to use and their kids to play in. Doing that, a lot of that is about effort and time and will. Some of it's about money. If we can help with the money bit and they can transform through voluntary activity their community, well, what a fantastic way to change a black spot and an eyesore into a fantastic community gathering place.
So just those examples that you've given, supporting somebody so that they can focus on their education and tidying up an area. They're not rocket science, but they're fundamental things that actually can make a difference to people's lives.
Absolutely. We are here to listen to what people need and to help improve the lives of citizens around here. I think that's never been more true and resonant than in COVID. When lockdown was approaching in March, we decided to create the COVID-19 Community Response Fund for Manchester, which basically said to all the frontline organisations trying to tackle problems generated by COVID, if you need money to do stuff, we can fund you. Within 2 weeks, we were up and running. We were getting grant decisions out to people within 48 hours of applying. Literally nobody does that. That is absolutely transformational. And we've already distributed £975,000 in grants to 290 community groups and charities doing urgent frontline work. That's across mental health support, vulnerable people, engaging young people, and food poverty and food insecurity relief. Transformational. And part of that has been funded by the generosity of citizens getting together, fundraising, and in particular from two major donors who together have donated £600,000. I lower my voice when I say that, it's so extraordinary, towards that 975,000 total. And it's just a fantastic example of when push comes to shove, when Manchester is faced with a really, really tremendous wave of challenge, people step up, people say, I know how to help and I'll put my voluntary help in. I need some money for it. Manchester's responded. We've got the money out to people within days. And we know we've impacted over 50,000 people through the COVID crisis already.
And I guess it's a case of, if you can help somebody early, you prevent the issues further down the line that are much more expensive, dealing with mental health, dealing with people who might need income support, dealing with community issues or just general health issues. So it's a bit like a stitch in time saves nine, really. Is that what you find?
I think there's two sides to the coin. One, early intervention is demonstrably and academically proven to have significant long-term savings in all sorts of areas of social care and social intervention. There is also an element of crisis management. What we're facing this year is different from anything I've ever seen before. And for us, for example, to be able to help people like Manchester Women's Aid to move some residents in women's refuges on into newer accommodation, thereby releasing new rooms in Manchester's refuges to accommodate new women and families fleeing domestic violence. That's not about a stitch in time saves nine. That's about an absolute immediate crisis intervention that could actually save lives. So yes, we're intervening to try and take longer term impact steps around mental health, young people's engagement in particular, but also meeting urgent and crisis needs where literally, in the case, for example, of vulnerable children and domestic violence, there are lives on the line. And if we can help the people on the front line make changes there, then that is absolutely why we exist.
So, Jed, if anybody thinks that they have got a good case for accessing the fund, getting some money, getting some support, where do they go to find out more about the process for doing that?
Great question. Our website tells you everything that you need to know. If you Google or search for We Love Manchester, then We Love Manchester charity comes up top of the search list. Click on there. The homepage gives you the headlines, and then there is a specific tab for applying for funding and grants. So it's all there, and you can contact us to talk about it if anything is unclear.
Fantastic. Well, look, Jed, thank you for your time. I know you're a busy man, but that was a very good introduction to what's going on with We Love Manchester. Thank you very much indeed.
My pleasure.